Something unusual is happening in the global politics right now. For decades, the Arab Gulf states looked to Washington for protection, for weapon, for security partnership, but now, after Israel's airstrike in Doha, Qatar, the mood in the Gulf has kind of shifted. And it is Moscow and not Washington that is stepping in to fill the vacuum. Here's the entire story. At the Russia-Gulf Cooperation Council Strategic Dialogue in Sochi, Russian Foreign Minister Mr. Sergei Lavrov stood side by side with Gulf leaders. He didn't mince his words. Lavrov called Israeli strike in Qatar a grave violation of international law. The GCC Secretary General Jassim al-Badawi echoed that anger, and then came the fury from Gulf capitals. Be it Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, all condemn Israel in the strongest terms possible. But why such anger? Because the strike wasn't on Gaza, it was on Qatar's capital, a US ally and home to Hamas's political leadership. Now, for Gulf nations, this wasn't just any random Israeli operation that we are talking about. It was an attack on Arab sovereignty, right under Washington's watch. And that's where the story gets more complicated. For years, the United States has been the Gulf security guarantor. American troops are based in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, the UAE, US fighter jet patrol Gulf skies. American warships dominate Gulf waters, and yet when Israel carried out its airstrike in Doha, Arab leaders, they felt like Washington turned a blind eye, or maybe worse, gave quiet approval. And that's why many in the region, they are now using a word that you don't often hear in diplomacy: betrayal. And right on cue, Mr. Vladimir Putin has moved in. By hosting Gulf leaders in Sochi, Russia, he's offering the Gulf nations to be his partner. The partner who is willing to condemn Israel, stand with Arabic bloc, and challenge America's dominance in the Middle East. This is not just about words. Moscow has already deepened military ties with the countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, selling weapons, drones, and even cooperating on energy deals through OPEC+. Now think about the timing here. The Gaza war has already split the world into camps. The US and Israel on one side, Iran and its allies on the other. But now, the Gulf states, traditionally in America's orbit, are openly warming up to Russia. Now for Mr. Putin, this is a global opportunity. He is trying to position Moscow as the new power broker of the Middle East. The one who talks to everybody, be it Arabs, Iranian, even Turkey. But here's the irony. When Israel is attacking Hamas, but civilians are also killed there, unfortunately, which is wrong by the way, then the world is saying a word: genocide. On the other hand, when it comes to Russia-Ukraine war, Russia has been killing Ukrainians since almost more than 3 years now. There is no genocide word that we can hear about. The bigger question is, will the Gulf really go as far as the breaking security ties with the US? Probably not immediately. America still sells billions of dollars worth of advanced weapons to the entire region, but the political message, well, it's very powerful. We have options. If Washington ignores our security, we can turn to Moscow or even Beijing. So basically, in one strike, Israel may have done what decades of diplomacy could not do: push America's Arab allies closer to Russia. And as this new alignment takes shape, one thing is very clear: the balance of power in the Middle East is shifting, and it may no longer revolve around Washington.